Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Annihilation of Fire Shadow. Reborn as a branch disciple of the Hinata clan, born with the ability to mutate white eyes and escape dust. In front of him, any blood continuation limit is just his energy to enhance his pupils. In front of him, any space, any strong person, any soul will sink forever and cease to exist. At this moment, the ninja realm is trembling, in fear, and in destruction. Everything is due to the genius of the Hinata clan, the immortal legend of the ninja realm. Mutation falls on the land of Feilu, in the icy and snowy 360 degrees Celsius. Thomas kneels down with a fully rotating screwdriver, begging for flowers and collecting them. New book, Martial Arts. Divine Master uploaded, seeking flower collection. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Hinata Luochuan Seeking Flower Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Late at night, the mansion and study of the Hinata clan. Luochuan, I will arrange for you to go to the ninja school tomorrow. Everything is up to you. As for that matter, let's go with the flow. At that time, Hinata Chiyo, the head of the Hinata clan, said that there were also high-level members of the Hinata clan in the study. Standing in front of Hinata Chiyo is the most secretive person in the current clan, Luochuan. His appearance is slightly similar to Hinata Ninji, but his eyes are black. Luochuan's heart is calm, suppressing the strange desire in his heart. This day will always come. I will go tomorrow. Kiba Ninja School, the classroom is slightly noisy. Hinata Luochuan walked in from outside the classroom, and teacher Nakano from the podium nodded at him and said, "This is the new classmate in our class." Hinata Luochuan, everyone applauds and welcomes him. The classroom was filled with scattered applause, and Luochuan just calmly looked at the students in the classroom. This was the class he was in, and there were several students with good abilities or special identities that interested him a bit. At the age of 8, Hinata Luochuan appears to have a child's appearance, but his soul is actually a young man in his 20s. Traveling through this world, Luochuan's identity was that of a member of the Hinata clan who divided their families, but he was a rather special member of the family, the only one who had not been engraved with a bird in a cage. At the moment of birth, my father quickly found the head of the family, and then a heart-wrenching scene appeared. A newborn baby, with blood vessels appearing around his white eyes and a faint chakra rise and fall, was born with an open eye. This news was quickly strictly sealed off, and Luochuan naturally survived in this world. However, 3 days after his birth, bad news came that both of his parents died in battle after carrying out their mission. He became an orphan and was raised by elders who separated from his family. Since childhood, Luochuan has shown a calmness, wisdom, and mentality that surpasses his peers, making his elders who raised him often think that he is talking to a young man with clear thoughts. White eyes turn into black pupils shortly after birth and can be opened at any time. This was not surprising to him. What was truly special was that every time he saw the people of the sect after opening his eyes, he would have a crazy desire to devour them, as if he wanted to devour them or something. From the moment this desire appeared, he began to crazily cultivate the ability of white eyes and crazily developed the power belonging to white eyes. Because he knew very well that ordinary white eyes did not have this feeling, and this strange white eye was beyond comparison to ordinary white eyes. Apart from opening his eyes, there is another unknown secret in Luochuan's heart, which is the 3 types of attribute powers. The 3 attributes of earth, wind, and fire, which can undergo property changes simultaneously, are full of infinite possibilities. 8 years have passed, causing significant impact within the Hinata clan, but outsiders are unaware of this. He, who rarely leaves his family, is seen by outsiders as nothing more than a useless member of the Hinata clan, which is extremely ironic. But he didn't care about what others saw or thought, it had nothing to do with him. He just needed to improve his own strength. Just last night, Hinata Chio arranged a task for him and informed him of some things, so he came to the ninja school. Luochuan, let me introduce myself, said teacher Zhongren awkwardly when he saw that Luochuan was indifferent. Luochuan nodded slightly and said, Hinata Luochuan, don't like noise, keep your interests confidential. Teacher Zhongren was sweating profusely, his mouth twitching and his heart lamenting. What kind of self-introduction is this? Is it just pretending to be cool? The expressions of other students are also a bit strange. Why are there always so many people who like to pretend to be cool? Some people just eat this kind of thing. How handsome, Prince Charming. A group of young girls under 10 years old, with stars in their eyes, transformed into flower enthusiasts. Some people are also unhappy, that is the boy in the class. What, it's just that I'm a little handsome, and I'm not bad either. Compared to my handsome appearance, I'm still far behind. Why? Can being handsome be enough to make a living? Naked jealousy, if it weren't for the teacher's presence, would have torn off that handsome face and crushed it now. Another person sneered, it turns out to be a waste of the Hinata clan, just a waste without even a discerning eye. The Hinata clan is almost at an end, it's ridiculous. A passage made Luochuan's eyes sweep over him, and when he saw that person, his eyes flickered with cold electricity. Whoosh! In an instant, Luochuan's figure beside the podium dissipated out of thin air and came directly to the person's side, with a finger resting on their left shoulder. The speaker's voice fell silent, and cold sweat kept falling down his cheeks. The classroom fell into an eerie silence. Even teacher Nakano on the podium was shocked by this scene, with a clear hint of disbelief in his eyes. Instant body technique. This little ghost actually. No, it's impossible. It should just be a regular move. He's a member of the Hinata clan, so that's it. Teacher Zhongren tried hard to find a reason to conceal his shock, but found that there was no reason to evade it. Luochuan looked coldly at the back of the person in front of him and said coldly, silence doesn't mean you can insult him recklessly. Next time, be careful, you little ghost of the Uchiha clan. The Tuan fan emblem represents identity and represents a faction. Luochuan, that's enough. Teacher Zhongren regained his senses and immediately shouted and scolded loudly. The person in front of him, Luochuan, was definitely a genius, but that person from the Uchiha clan was also a genius. He couldn't explain anything that happened. If we don't stop the situation from further developing, something terrifying will happen. He could clearly see the chakra's thread emitting a faint white light at the fingertips of the fingers against his shoulder. The Hinata clan is a wealthy family of physical arts. Luochuan glanced at him and calmly withdrew his fingers. The quiet class boiled with the retraction of this finger, and the boys who had clearly shown ill intentions just now also succumbed. It's so scary, so fast. I can't see it at all. Surprisingly, one move subdued the genius of the Uchiha clan. This is the true genius. The girls are even crazier, handsome, cool, and strong, each of which satisfies the prince's conditions. Uchiha Fuyue's pupils, which were subdued by a single move, couldn't stop trembling with fear and anger. In the moment before, half of the body was numb, unable to lift a single bit of strength, and cold sweat had already soaked through the clothes. Angry, as the young leader of the Uchiha clan, he was unexpectedly restrained by the useless moves of the Hinata clan, without even the ability to resist. The Uchiha clan was humiliated. Hinata Luochuan, this life is endless. Chapter 2. Mutation Ability Seeking Flower Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The energy composition of chakra is the body energy absorbed from 130 trillion cells in the human body, as well as the spiritual energy accumulated from various practices. The amount of chakra determines a ninja's strength and quality. Generally speaking, ninjas with a large amount of chakra can only achieve it after undergoing countless trials and tasks. Although you are only students now, you will also experience this kind of life in the future. On the podium, Teacher Zhongren was talking incessantly about the course, and a group of students had already fallen below. The routine courses made people drowsy, and Luochuan also lay on the desk, disappointing many who were looking forward to seeing genius study hard. Is this really a genius? I was sleeping in class. Is the strength demonstrated just now fake? It's so lazy, it doesn't seem like a genius who studies hard at all. If I had that talent, I would have already become famous in the world of ninja. Some boys have a slightly sour tone, and the title of genius is always filled with countless halos. In fact, Luochuan is not lazy, but his strength has already surpassed the level of ninja school graduates, and he doesn't need to listen to school courses anymore. He came here because of the clan leader's mission and investigating another matter. Extracting chakras is the most important thing now, and it is something he is constantly striving for. The Hinata clan is different from ordinary people in terms of physical arts talent. Except for a few strong physical arts experts in Kiba Hidden Village, the rest are from the Hinata clan. The soft fist technique is awe-inspiring in the ninja realm, becoming one of the barriers for the Hinata clan, as well as the white eyes. White eye is one of the known three major pupil techniques, with a 360-degree viewing angle. Due to the curse imprint, there is a dead angle, which can see the flow of chakras in the surrounding environment. It also has a far-sighted eye and an inside eye that can see through objects, as well as the meridians, nerves, and acupoints of the other person. Using chakras to multiply the ability of the eyes, they can see things 1 kilometer away in a circle, and their insight surpasses that of riding will eyes. Since he was not engraved with the bird in the cage, there is no blind spot. This is the pupillary technique that originated from Otakuni Kagaya and is inherited from his second son Otakuni Murakami's blood inheritance limit. The ability of Bai Yen is very powerful, so powerful that it is shocking. If multiple pairs of white eyes gather, they can evolve into reincarnation eyes, which have the power to destroy creation. And his white eyes are a bit strange, perhaps due to a problem during his time traveling. His white eyes have mutated. In addition to the known white eye ability, there is actually another ability, devouring. The ability to devour was previously only demonstrated against the Hinata clan. Every time he opened his eyes and saw the clan or even other members, there seemed to be a voice in his heart telling him to devour and devour the life in front of him. But he suppressed this voice. The Hinata clan treated him well, how could they do such a shameless thing? And just now, when facing Zhan Yujibwa Fuyue, that voice appeared again, which gave him a bold guess. Perhaps this mutated white eyes ability is not only aimed at the sect, but also at the blood inheritance limit. Does Bai Yen have the ability to devour blood and inherit boundaries? This is something that has never been imagined before. However, if this peculiar ability is developed, can another form of ninjutsu be derived? A ninjutsu that belongs exclusively to him. If successful, then this will be another type of bloodline boundary, a brand new bloodline boundary. Based on current research, there is great room for improvement in the ability of this type of white eye. The devouring attribute should be perfectly utilized, so that it not only has an advantage in dealing with the blood inheritance limit, but also has sufficient advantages in dealing with other ninjutsu skills. Now his chakra is only equivalent to the level of endurance, which is a very heartbreaking chakra. As a traveler, his spiritual power is much stronger than others, but chakra is generated by the fusion of physical and mental energy, and excessive spiritual energy alone does not bring much benefit. However, the power of spiritual energy plays a significant role in combating illusions. If this trend continues, it may be able to resist many illusions and even be immune in the future. The terrifying power of illusion is incredible, and if one could be immune, it would be fortunate. Although chakra only has the level of lower ninja, if he were to face middle ninja, he still had confidence in being able to level up and take a hit, because his white eyes are mutated. Of course, there is another force that supports his confidence, which is the three attributes of earth, wind, and fire, chakra. Three innate abilities that can simultaneously initiate property changes, the fusion of earth, wind, and fire attributes, form a new dun, dust dun. Chen dun does not belong to the blood inheritance limit, but is a type of blood inheritance elimination that transcends the blood inheritance limit. The blood inheritance limit is a combination of any two innate chakra property changes to form a new property change, while the blood inheritance elimination is a combination of three chakra property changes, and this type of chakra property owner is extremely rare. At present, there is another user in the ninja realm who is a Dungeon of Dust, the third generation Mutation of Iwamura, and Inoki. The dust escape of Luochuan is different from that of Inoki. Although it has the same three types of property changes, it has also undergone mutations and possesses stronger power. Both the blood inheritance limit and blood inheritance elimination have undergone mutations, and Luochuan continuously improves these two abilities and conducts in-depth research, obtaining huge returns from them. It is precisely with these two abilities that he is confident in being able to fight at a higher level. After a long time, the bell rang for the end of class, and Luochuan slowly looked up and walked outside without saying a word. The so-called classmates in this classroom are just little brats in his eyes. Just as he walked to the classroom door, Yuji-Bo Fuyue stood in front of him. Hinata towards Luochuan. Yuji-Bo Fuyue had a gloomy face, gritted his teeth, and stared fiercely at Luochuan. What kind of skill is a surprise attack? If you have the ability, just have a decent fight with me. The students in the classroom stopped when they saw this situation, as if waiting for Luochuan's answer. Luochuan looked at the other person calmly, without any joy or sadness, unable to figure out what he was thinking in his heart. The influential figure from another school saw this situation and quickly spoke up, "This is the school, not the battlefield. It should be peaceful." "Shut up. It's none of your business, Bo Feng Shui Men. It's none of your business, Yuji-Bo Fuyue." Chapter 3. Challenge the Name of Genius, Seeking Flower Collection. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Upon hearing this sound, Bo Feng Shui Men chose to remain silent, while Yuji-Bo Fuyue's murderous aura was awe-inspiring, and anger welled up in his heart. Luochuan scanned his eyes and looked towards the source of the sound. Those are two people who look extremely similar, and their white eyes are the best proof of their identity. The sun is full and the sun is full. The two of them were also in this ninja school, and they were in the same class as Luochuan. When they saw that Luochuan was about to leave the classroom, they stood up. Uchiha Fuyue's words made the two of them sarcastic. The two of them walked slowly, and Yuji-Bo Fuyue was furious and shouted, "What do you two white-eyed wolves want to do? Who stopped me today, who died?" Almost overwhelmed by anger, he spoke without hesitation, making people blush. Those who had not yet left the classroom stopped, their eyes fixed on the twin brothers. Sure enough, as expected by everyone, the two brothers of Rizu Rizhao fell silent for a moment after hearing those words, and soon became furious. "Red-eye disease, you're looking for death." Whoosh! The two of them surrounded Fuyue, one in front and one behind, and if there was a big disagreement, they fought fiercely. Similarly, Luochuan was also angry at Uchiha Fuyue's words. He is now a member of the Hinata clan and has white eyes. It is natural for him to be slandered by the Uchiha clan. However, if the Japanese football team were to take action with just two people, they would definitely be able to completely defeat Uchiha Fuyue without his intervention. When Fuyue spoke, he already regretted it a bit. It was not beneficial for him to openly offend these two brothers, but rather to put him in a difficult situation. Rizu and Richa are members of the Hinata clan, and he is the young leader of the Uchiha clan, both of whom have transcendent identities. At this moment, saying such things can easily lead people to spread rumors and mistakenly believe that he is going to declare war on the Hinata clan. That's exactly why he regretted it in his heart. When the term red-eye disease appeared, Fuyue became even angrier. Who is looking for death, the waste of the Hinata clan? If you don't agree, then let's fight. As they put on a fighting posture, the students in the classroom immediately dispersed, providing a relatively spacious combat space. There are indeed many people who don't mind the big picture at the theater, and this is true in any world. The two brothers of Rizu snorted coldly together and were about to take action. But at this moment, Luochuan calmly said, "Rizu, Rizhao, this is my prey. The person he is causing trouble with is me, and it has nothing to do with you. Now, what are you doing with me?" Leaving Yuji Bo Fuyue aside, he was more interested in these two people. Upon hearing these words, Hinata Nishisada looked at him and said, "Of course I'm here to trouble you." "No, I'm here to ask for your advice." "Yes, I'm here to ask for your advice," said Hinata quickly. As he regained his senses upon hearing these words, Luochuan almost burst into laughter. Ri's mind was full of thoughts, but Ri Cha was quite wise. However, how does this seem somewhat opposite to the personalities of the two people we know? Seeking advice. As members of the Hinata clan, you don't need to ask me for advice. No, it's not whether there's a need, but whether there's a need. As Hinata said, Hinata nodded in agreement. In fact, from another perspective, one can understand the intentions of the two. Although Luochuan is a separated family, his status and treatment are not inferior to those of the Zhong family. He is not only raised by elders, but also occasionally served by members of the Zhong family. The name of genius is bestowed upon him by the Hinata clan and truly deserves it. Although not many people have witnessed his battles, this genius name has accompanied him from birth until now, never fading any light. There will be two people, Rizu and Rizai. Rizu will become the head of the ancestral family, while Rizai will become the head of the branch family. The two of them are both geniuses from the ancestral family, and they are also somewhat famous among the wood leaves. As soon as they leave the house, people often discuss their names as geniuses. However, the words praising them made the two of them feel bitter in their hearts. Only they knew that among the Hinata clan, the only true genius title was Hinata Luochuan. The name of Rishiang Luochuan is like an invisible mountain pressing in the hearts of this generation, making them desperately chase after it, but it is always unreachable. Although they have already made efforts, no matter how hard they try, the elders always say. Far behind, compared to Luochuan, still far behind. Why keep comparing them to someone who has never fought much before? Need and necessity are indeed different, but challenging me would be the same for you. Luochuan's words made the Japanese brothers grit their teeth and clench their fists. Let's have a decisive victory or defeat today. Rizu snorted as Luochuan shook his head and said, "I'm not interested. Fighting with little ghosts like you is a waste of time." You're the little ghost, I was born a few days before you, bastard. What does the tone of this elder mean, with the black line rising straight from the sun's feet? Even though I was born several days before you, you are the little ghost, the true little ghost. Yuzibo Fuyue was also stunned. The three bastards of the Hinata clan had left him, the young leader of the Yuzibo clan, aside, with contempt and blatant contempt. I said you guys don't take me seriously. Why didn't I take you seriously? Rizu blurted out, and Fuyue's face turned black with anger. The Hinata clan was too crazy. Rizhao and Luochuan are speechless, and Rizu's speech is a bit brainless. There are still many paths to take on the path of future clan leaders. There was no need to talk to Hinata. Fuyue remembered his original purpose and looked at Luochuan with hatred, saying, "A useless member of the Hinata clan, let's have a dignified battle today." Sorry, as members of the Hinata clan, we have the right to choose first. A faint sentence from the day difference infuriated Fuyue to the death, and he even chose priority, which he had never heard of before. Luochuan, on the other hand, looked at the sunset and could see a hint of perseverance in his white pupils. Since you have requested it, let's meet you. There is not enough space here, the school playground. After speaking, he looked at Yuzibo Fuyue and said, "You can solve it later. Anyway, it's the same at any time." After finishing speaking, Shiran walked out of the classroom. If the little ghost had such determination, there was no need to be polite. Rizu became excited and hurriedly followed him out. When he arrived, he looked at Yuzhibo Fuyue with disdain, which made the other person furious and made the three-corpse god jump. The day difference is much calmer, but the fighting spirit is not lacking at all. P.S. Cute new books offering everything for you to pick. Adults, don't pity me, collect and smash them down. Chapter 4. This is Soft Fist, Seeking Flower Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the school playground, there are not many people who stay here after school, only a few dozen or so people. On the huge sandy playground, Rizu and Ri-cha stood side by side, already showing a soft fist stance. Across from them was a calm and serene Luochuan, standing casually, seemingly full of loopholes. Facing the riddled Luochuan River, Rizu and Ri-cha both had beads of sweat on their foreheads. There is no flaw at all. From any angle of attack, the opponent only needs to move freely and can definitely avoid their attack. The Japanese football team facing the battle has a different image and temperament from before, and is absolutely cautious. Several students from schools, as well as Yuzhibo Fuyue and Bo Fengshui Gate, were watching the battle on the side. Fuyue, who watched coldly, had a cold gleam in his eyes. He clenched his fists and stared straight at the figure he detested and hated. The Fengshui Gate, on the other hand, looks helpless. It seems a bit uncomfortable to fight like this in school, right? Even if it's a sparring, it's a bit too serious. They are all classmates, why bother? Hinata clan, I'll let you repent at my feet later. Yuzhibo Fuyue murmured to himself, the overwhelming hatred causing him to have infinite imagination. Within a day, he was repeatedly looked down upon by the members of the Hinata clan, which made the young leader of the Uchiha clan a bit unable to accept. There have always been people around him who worship him, and there has never been such a time when he is looked down upon by others. Even if they are in the same class as Rizu Ri-ga, they are still strangers and have not had much communication. It can be said that they are strangers and have no friction. But due to the emergence of Luochuan, things have changed today. The three people staring at each other in the center of the playground, time passed by bit, and Luochuan did not take any action. The Rizu brothers couldn't hold back a bit. The longer it takes, the more the aura of genius becomes heavy in their hearts. Suddenly, the day shift took action. I saw him stepping on the ground with one foot, his body shooting out like a sharp arrow, jumping into mid-air, hands in palms, and clapping one after another. Pure palm technique, the rapidly dancing hands transformed into a sky full of palm shadows, like raindrops falling, airtight. The sun's feet also moved and ran straight towards the front, punching out with both fists and unleashing the power of a tiger. The two brothers worked closely together, one suppressed in the air and the other restrained on land, with their fists and palms dazzling. The two quickly approached, and although the Japanese team was attacking with their fists, there was no sound of fierce thunder or wind, like a ghost. The palm shadow fell and was about to fall on Luochuan's body. At this moment, there was no movement in the Luochuan operation. Suddenly, he leaned forward and his footsteps changed, ignoring the palm attack from mid-air and turning to face the fist of Rizu. Seeking death. Rizu was so angry that he despised him so much. The fist intensified, and at this moment, the Dao fist shadow evolved and completed, resembling the sword rain of the sword shadow clone technique in hand. However, these countless fist shadows were dodged one by one as they rapidly moved around Luochuan. Damn! Ah! Rizu cursed inwardly, and as he looked back, Luochuan suddenly appeared in front of him. Their heads were only 20 centimeters apart, and they could clearly see the cold gleam in each other's pitch-black eyes. A scream of surprise came from his mouth, and then his body was thrown up. However, he was thrown off his shoulder by Luochuan and fell to the ground several meters away, dragging up a yellow-brown dust. Bang bang bang. The palm shadows from the sky also fell at this moment, but lost their target and all fell to the ground. The dense palm shadows shattered the ground and dust surged. Luochuan looked up at the sky, and Rizhao's body was still in a stagnant state. The battle with Rizhao just now was just a short second. Shoo! A sword in hand was thrown out, and the rotating sword in hand instantly approached the solar eclipse. Upon seeing the movements of Luochuan, Rizhao's eyes immediately straightened, and he arched his body with a sword in his hand that could fly over his hairline. It's so close. With a low cry from the day difference, another voice rang out, is it just a safe bet? Bang! Without time to react, the back was attacked and fell straight to the ground. The two brothers were in close proximity, both lying on the ground struggling to stand up. The onlookers exclaimed in surprise as they faced the challenge of two geniuses alone. However, they were able to respond so calmly and quickly knock down the enemy to the ground. This person's reaction speed was also too fast. Yuji Bo Fuyue snorted coldly, it's just flower fists embroidered with legs. Ninjas don't rely on flower fists embroidered with legs to fight. Fuyue, that's too much to say. Shuemen frowned, but all he received was a disdainful smile from the other party. The Rizu brothers almost stood up from the ground at the same time, exchanged a glance, and chakra quickly adjusted. White-eyed. The blood vessels around their eyes protruded, and there was a slight change in their white eyes. As soon as this change occurred, the onlookers exclaimed in surprise, oh my goodness, it's the bloodline of the Hinata clan that inherits the limit, white eyes. They can already open their eyes. They're so strong. Yujibwa Fuyue sneered, can his white eyes be compared to his Sharingan? Fool. The two people who opened their eyes were more cautious, as they could see the acupoints on the human body in the flow of chakras. The presence of Luochuan in front of their eyes, the amount of chakra in their bodies, had already made them feel a little embarrassed. Beyond them, this is the standard for graduates of the ninja school. Brother, this battle may be full of many variables. Anyway, defeat him first before we speak. Luochuan, the soft fist technique is a combination of White Eye's body techniques and is also a proud body technique of the Hinata clan. Today, I will use this body technique to defeat you. Hinata spoke somewhat provocatively, and then the two of them rushed forward at the same time, clapping their palms one after another. It was faintly visible that there was a chakra accompanying their palms, which was transformed into a fine needle-like chakra. The speed of the attack was very fast, and when Luochuan saw the soft fist move, he became serious. Two geniuses used the soft fist to deal with him at the same time. If he accidentally capsized in the sewer, his face would look ugly. Whoosh! Instantaneous body technique, when the two were about to charge towards him, he used it and instantly avoided their attack. The two people who lost their goal suddenly became confused and almost collided. Damn it, where did that guy go? There it is. Luochuan was already 2 meters behind the two of them, showing the same soft fist technique of starting. You see clearly, this is soft fist. White eyes. Soft fist technique. Bagua 64 palm. The white eyes instantly opened, and the pitch-black eyes turned into white pupils. Blood vessels appeared around the eyes, and the green yin-yang fish Bagua formation was stepped on under my feet. Bagua 64 palm. Oh my god, it's this move. Has this guy learned it yet? The Rizu brothers were stunned, and under the influence of the Rishian clan, they naturally understood the power of the 64 Bagua palms. Can this guy be used now? As the 64th palm of the Luo River was about to be struck, Rizu quickly shouted, don't fight. We'll give up, surrender, surrender. If you have something to say, it's easy to discuss. P.S. The new book uploaded by Mengxin, thank you to various TVs, thank you to all brothers for their support. Kneeling firmly, please don't pity me. Chapter 5. No reason needed for rolling seeking flowers to harvest. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The 64 bagua palms that Luochuan was about to take action slowly retracted, and the bagua array at his feet suddenly disappeared. With a calm gaze, he looked at the two brothers in front and said calmly, "The soft fist technique is combined with the body technique of the white eye, which is very profound. You two are still far behind. There's still a long way to go, there's still a long way to go." The familiar words once again entered their ears, and the two brothers looked ashamed. Being lectured by their peers like this made them both unhappy and convinced. They are already able to use the body technique of Bagua 64 palm, but they are still unable to use it and have not reached the threshold yet. At this point, the two are truly convinced. Conquer the name of the other person's genius, and also accept the other person's hard cultivation. Genius is just potential, without corresponding efforts, it is just fleeting and fleeting. The onlookers were stunned, and the power displayed by Luochuan at this moment exceeded their expectations and understanding. Easily facing two geniuses of the Hinata clan, even in the end using powerful moves to intimidate the two and make a ceasefire sound, directly admitting defeat. This is the strong one, undoubtedly the number one in the ninja school. Undoubtedly, the first one is that some people's eyes have already turned to Yuzhibo Fuyue. The young leader of the Uchiha clan seems to be the first genius in the school, and he still has a prominent identity and conflicts with Luochuan. What should he do next when facing Luochuan, who can defeat the two great geniuses? Everyone's hearts are filled with curiosity and anticipation. Luochuan did not disappoint everyone's expectations, and his eyes, which seemed to be blooming with substantive lightning, swept towards Yuzhibo Fuyue and said, "It's your turn next." A plain and indifferent tone, as if nothing is important, everything is just a passing scene. Yuzhibo Fuyue's face was gloomy. He had seen the battle just now very vividly and was trying to capture the enemy's trace. However, from beginning to end, he could not see how the enemy moved or approached. Speed type, this should be speed type. And the most unexpected thing for him was that this widely circulated black-eyed waste of the Hinata clan also had white eyes. After careful consideration, Yuzhibo Fuyue said with a black face, "You consumed a lot in the battle just now. I won't take advantage of you. I'll challenge you later." A very reasonable explanation elevates his own personality without making people feel fearful. Ordinary people may give up in this situation, but Luochuan is going to do things beyond everyone's expectations. It doesn't matter, no matter how much it costs, it's enough to deal with you. The words were still plain, but the confidence conveyed in them made people feel that he should speak, act, and completely crush them. Fuyue's face was already dripping with ink. Does this guy really look down on him at all? Being humiliated and looked down upon time and time again, Fuyue couldn't help but blush and shout loudly, "Hinata Luochuan, since you want to die, don't blame me." Then he rushed forward and made a mark on his hands. Fire escape. The art of Heiau Wokyu. Without hesitation, he used his already mastered ninjutsu and completed the seal. With one hand against his mouth, he sprayed flames extracted from chakra to form a fireball, rapidly attacking the position of Luochuan. Ninjutsu. Attack ninjutsu. He actually mastered this kind of ninjutsu. Surprisingly, it's a C-level ninjutsu that can only be mastered by Nakano. This little ghost from the Uchiha clan is so terrifying, his talent is so high. Not good, quickly provide support. Some teachers hidden around the playground were surprised and couldn't sit still. C-level ninjutsu is not something that ninja school students can afford. Once hit, it can be either fatal or injurious. But just as they were about to take action, Luochuan also took action, but it was not aimed at the powerful fireball technique. I saw him reaching out with both hands and grabbing the shoulders of Rizu and Rizhao with lightning speed, leaping backwards. Whoo! A fireball with a diameter of over 2 meters was raging, and the huge fireball burned the ground to pieces and indentations. The fireball lasted for more than 10 seconds before stopping, and the flames dissipated, leaving only black smoke rising slowly. However, there was no body of Luochuan there, only the scorching earth. Fuyue stared with both eyes and took a deep breath. Did that guy run away? It should be true that as long as one demonstrates strong fire evasion, anyone in the school will back down, even the teachers. However, about 10 meters in front of the flames, Luochuan's hand was still resting on two frightened and undecided individuals. The technique of Heihokyu belongs to the C-level ninjutsu, which is a ninjutsu that can only be resisted by medium ninjutsu. But he has absolute confidence in being able to block it, for no other reason, just because of his mutated white eyes. If he uses the 64 bagua palms, he can turn the technique of the fireball into Mars every minute. However, the two of them were right in front of him, and they were also the targets of Heihwokyu's attack. Due to their backs facing the giant fireball, their reaction slowed down and they were unable to dodge on their own. After patting the shoulders of the two, Luochuan said calmly, "Step back and leave the rest to me." Can. After regaining his senses, Rizu wanted to say something, but Rizhao grabbed him and gently shook his head. The Uchiha clan is the most proficient in fire escape, which is a consensus in the ninja realm. It's just that I don't know to what extent you have practiced fire escape and whether you can meet people. In a preachy tone again, Fuyue became angry with embarrassment and immediately rushed forward, throwing out several swords in his hands, and then stamping his hands. Luochuan's footsteps were continuous, and his body was like a free-soaring bird, agile enough to dodge the attack of the sword in his hand. At the same time, his hands were also making marks, and the speed of the marks exceeded that of Fuyue. Fuyue saw the other party's technique and his eyes widened instantly. That seal is fire escape. The art of Heihwokyu. Chakra erupted from his mouth and turned into a 3-meter diameter fireball. Fire escape. The art of Heihwokyu. Fuyue has also completed the printing process and is once again a giant fireball. Bang! The 3-meter diameter fireball instantly engulfed Fuyue's 2-meter-long fireball, like a bamboo, and immediately collided with his body. Ah! Danger has descended, but Fuyue has no time to dodge. That's enough. Bang! A water wall rose from the ground, blocking the giant fireball. The giant fireball quickly extinguished, emitting a large amount of white mist, but the water wall also shattered as a result. P.S. Brothers, let's all support collecting flowers. If you have any ideas, please share them in the book review section. Chapter 6. Beyond Words, Seeking Flower Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The water wall and the giant fireball disappeared at the same time, and two teachers from Zhongren appeared in front of Fuyue, one of whom was still holding the seal technique with both hands. Teacher Nakano intervened to block the huge fireball, and the battle came to an end. The outcome has already been decided. If it weren't for Teacher Nakano's intervention, Fuyue would have been seriously injured if he hadn't died. Luochuan also had no intention of continuing the battle. The two ninjas had already surpassed him in strength and could not fight against him. Chakra's ability to withstand the peak of endurance can be broken through at any time. Although he can fight against Zhongren using white eyes and dust done, it is now exposed to be very unfavorable to him. After weighing the strengths of both sides, he could only shake his head and sigh, "Unfortunately, we can't fight against either of them." He sighed to himself, unaware that those two teachers from Zhongren were already in shock. Previously, it was thought that Uchiha Fuyue had used the C-level ninja technique of the Hokkaido, which Luochuan logically could not resist. I don't want him to react quickly. Not only did he escape from the attack range, but he also took two people out of danger using the teleportation technique. This makes them look forward to a wonderful showdown. But the results are often different from what people think. There is no grand confrontation, no resistance between ninjutsu and physical skills, only crushing battles. Both are the techniques of Heihwokyu, but one can already distinguish between strong and weak in terms of body shape. Fuyue had previously used the technique of Heo Wokyu, which cost quite a bit. However, on the second use, it was clearly a bit inadequate. After using the massive fireball technique, Luochuan did not show any signs of fatigue, so he made a high and low judgment. If nothing unexpected happens, this battle will end with Uchiha Fuyue being seriously injured and Luochuan easily winning. But the two Zhongren teachers saw that the situation was not right, so they quickly supported. This little ghost can also use fire escape, and its power is even stronger than that of Uchiha Fuyue. Surprisingly, the Hinata clan has produced such a genius. What a terrifying little devil. Indeed, we are already old. The two teachers from Zhongren were filled with emotions, as the times have changed so rapidly, and the new generation has begun to thrive. However, this little devil's methods are a bit ruthless, and he has such a heavy hand. The onlookers no longer knew how to say what was happening in front of them. First, they defeated two geniuses, and now they have surpassed the top genius in the school. Moreover, it was a flash sale, and this day in Luochuan cannot be described as strong. Yujibo Fuyue sat on the ground with his body paralyzed. In the moment before, he felt so close to the Grim Reaper that one foot had already stepped into the gates of hell. The breath of death is so terrifying, the feeling of being about to say goodbye to this world, he doesn't want to try it again. After thinking about it, one of the younger Nakano teachers shouted at Luochuan with a dark face, "Did you just want to kill him? That level of ninjutsu can already kill him." Regarding this, Luochuan's cold eyes swept towards teacher Zhongren, showing a hint of sarcasm. Is it possible that the Uchiha clan could be killed by the fire escape? Is it a lift? Or contempt? Teacher Zhongren is so angry that he doesn't know how to say it well. Do you want him to say it's impossible? Why did you come out to stop it? Do you want him to say it's possible? Isn't that questioning the strongest glory of Uchiha's fire escape? Forget it, as long as there's nothing wrong, just consider it a small accident, forget it. Older individuals in China have more patience and know how to handle it. Fuyue lowered his head, and Luochuan's words were a huge blow to him, causing his self-esteem and confidence to almost collapse. Carrying the glory of the Uchiha clan, but he was killed here by the Hinata clan with a flash fire. Is the glory of the Uchiha clan still there? Does he still have the right to acknowledge his identity as a junior chieftain? I was defeated by Huadun, I was defeated by Huadun. Huadun, Huadun. Fuyue murmured incessantly, his eyes glazed over, his body trembling slightly. The two of them couldn't help but look at each other. Which one was this? Luochuan also frowned. The character of Yuzibo Fuyue was too fragile to withstand even the slightest blow. Did you look up to him? However, in the next moment, Fuyue's unconscious murmur made his eyes angrily open, and cold electricity flashed continuously. I would have lost to the sons of those two people. I would have lost to him, to him. No, no, I haven't lost yet, I haven't lost yet, I just haven't opened my eyes yet. Fuyue's words caught the attention of Luochuan, and his mind was spinning. The sons of those two people. Are you talking about me? But what does he mean when he talks about my parents? Does he know him? Or is there something else? Intuition tells Luochuan that this Yukibo Fuyue must know something, and that matter must be closely related to the Yukibo clan. 8 years have passed, and only the parties involved or the forces involved can remember that incident. Yuzibo clan, Yuzibo Fuyue. Taking note of this, Luochuan slowly exhaled a breath, suppressing the curiosity and murderous intent that emerged in his heart, and turned around to leave. But at that moment, a strange force suddenly came from Yuzibo Fuyue and made him stop and turn his head to look. Fuyue still sat slumped on the ground with his head down, murmuring incessantly, while the two Zhongren teachers neither said nor advised, unsure of what to do. I haven't lost, I can't possibly lose, ah. Hinata Luochuan. Amidst his murmurs, Yuzhibo Fuyue let out a loud roar and stood up with a ho sound, his eyes fixed on Luochuan. This pair of eyes made Luochuan's eyes cold and sharp. The pupils were red, with a little black in the middle. There was a black circle around the black periphery, and a black jade was strung around it. The black jade rotated along the trajectory of the circle. These eyes silenced Luochuan for a moment. Did the crushing this time make him open the Sharingan? But what if the writing will eye is turned on? It can still be easily crushed. The defeated soldiers are still the defeated soldiers, and there will never be a day to turn over. Furthermore, the salted fish has turned over and is still a salted fish. Yukabo Fuyue, who had opened his Sharingan, stared closely at Luochuan, his pupils constantly emanating from those eyes, but he did not take any action. Hinata to Luochuan, I have recorded today's shame. One day, I will personally repay it 1,000 times more. The hatred was overwhelming, and the two nearby teachers couldn't help but tremble. This little ghost's hatred was so strong. Luochuan calmly replied, "Oh, really? I hope so." Then he turned his head and left leisurely. Ri Zhu and Ri Cha exchanged a glance and followed up. P.S. Cute new book, pink and tender upload. Pray for brothers to collect and support flowers. Kneel down and thank you all. Also, if you have any suggestions in the book review section, please feel free to speak up. Chapter 7. Refuse Seeking Flower Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Outside the ninja school, the sunset stretched the backs of the three of them on the Chinchou shelf. The students have basically left and returned home to enjoy a delicious dinner after finishing a day of classes, leaving very few people behind. Next to Chinchou Jia were three people from Hinata and Luochuan. The defeated Hinata and Hinata stood opposite him, with Hinata's expression twisted and speechless. Hinata is facing the most secretive genius of the Hinata clan who defeated them head-on, and the scene is a bit strange. Luochuan's expression was calm, and his demeanor and aura were extremely incompatible with his age. Tell me, what are you looking for me for? Are you trying to find a place? Even if there is a young clan leader on the opposite side, he is not respectful, just very ordinary. The only way he can care now is to enhance his strength. Rizu had a strange expression on his face, and after looking at the day difference that he had no intention of speaking, he hesitated for a long time before finally revealing the true story. Well, actually, we are very convinced. You are better than us and more talented than us. So, can you guide us? Rao Luochuan's mentality is already very mature, and when he heard this, he couldn't help but feel a bit surprised, guiding them. Why? There are many strong individuals in the Hinata clan who can fully guide these two individuals. Why did they find him? Reason. Because you are stronger than us, in the future you will definitely surpass countless people in your family. If we follow you as you grow up, it will definitely bring great benefits. I refuse. Ah. Why? Japanese football believes that they are already sincere enough, but why does he still refuse? It's simple, we're of similar ages. If we were to accept you as disciples, it would seem a bit strange to outsiders and would also tarnish the reputation of the Hinata clan. So, I refuse. There are plenty of reasons, and it was only then that the Japanese football team realized this. Yes, if you were guided by someone of the same age as Luochuan, then the reputation of the Hinata clan outside would be needless to say. It would raise doubts that the Hinata clan no longer has capable individuals or the ability to cultivate the next generation, thus becoming a laughingstock of the Hinata clan. From this perspective, it is impossible to provide guidance. Rizu felt a wave of disappointment in his heart, completely exceeding his expectations, without first thinking clearly about the consequences of a series of jumps. Well, why don't you become our boss? That way, you won't be talked about by others. following the rules of the ninja world is already the rule of the strong, isn't it? Indeed, the strong are rules. However, rules are something that people use to break, and that goes without saying. After finishing speaking, Luochuan left, already understanding the meaning of the two of them in his heart. Unfortunately, in his opinion, that is a childish thing. The Hinata clan holds an extraordinary position in the realm of ninja and is an ancient branch of the Kiba clan. If the young clan leader follows the principle of dividing the family as the leader, it will be largely despised and looked down upon by others. At least for now, it is impossible. He is still young and lacks strength. How can he bear the title of boss? Therefore, he chose to refuse and walked towards the sun, towards the tribe. After being stunned for a while, Rizu turned his head and foolishly looked at the day difference, saying, "It seems like we were rejected." Yes, it was rejected very decisively. Why? Rizu was dissatisfied. They were sincere, even if it wasn't for the sake of their family, at least it was for the sake of their classmates. Ri-cha shook his head and looked at the increasingly blurred back of Luochuan, whispering, "Actually, he has already guided us. Rules are meant to be broken, and I will remember this sentence. Rules are meant to be broken by people. I don't understand, it's too profound. But it seems very powerful, boss. We won't give up." The last sentence roared out at the almost disappearing figure of Luochuan, and one hand clenched its fist and raised it towards the sky, proving his determination. Rizai looked at it and raised his fist, "We won't give up." At night, among the Hinata tribe. The residence in Luochuan is a separate courtyard, enjoying the same treatment as the elders. There is a clear difference between the ancestral family and the branch family in Hinata, as there is actually only one person in the ancestral family. Currently, there is only one member of the Hinata clan, Hinata Qianyang. Hinata and Hinata are only considered descendants of the clan, and there will definitely be one person who will become a branch in the future. The mansion of the Hinata clan is very spacious, heavily guarded, and has a prominent reputation and aura. The other courtyard in Luochuan has facilities such as a small lake, flower beds, pavilions, rockeries, and corridors, and is also equipped with several separate guards. Those who are unaware of the truth will surely think that this is the separate courtyard of the young clan leader, rather than the separate courtyard of a separated person. On the corridor, Luochuan sat down and pondered on what had happened today. There is actually only one thing that truly matters, and that is what Yuji Bofuyu said. In this life, his parents are ninjas, and they are also two ninjas. According to Qianyang and some elders, it was basically due to an urgent task that required his parents' help. Later, there was a problem during the execution of the task, which resulted in the deaths of both individuals and the failure of the task. 8 years have passed, and he has never forgotten this matter. This life was given to him by his parents. Although he only had 3 days, he should have done something for them, at least avenging them. Until now, many people in the clan have forgotten about this matter, but a young leader of the Uchiha family mentioned these two people and immediately caught his attention. If we don't know the root cause, how would we talk about it? It is impossible to know the truth from Qianyang and others. They will definitely not say it, but let him search for it, that's all. After thinking for a long time, there was still no clue, and Luochuan slowly stood up. At this moment, a person walked in from outside the courtyard, a regular visitor. The clan chief visited late at night and was unable to welcome him from afar. "We apologize for any inconvenience caused." The person who entered was the son Qianyang, who was in his prime and was full of vitality. Upon hearing Luochuan's words, Hinata Chio Shishiren walked towards her and said in a low voice, "I heard Hinata talk about today's situation. What do you think?" "Not really, it's extremely absurd. P.S. Please don't pity me, brothers. Collect flowers, give me rewards, smash me quickly, smash me until death, *++**. Chapter 8. Promise to study ninjutsu, seeking flower collection. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The Japanese football team has already made it very clear to me that your decision is correct for the sake of family reputation. However, Hinata Qianyang paused for a moment and stared into Luochuan's eyes, saying, but from the perspective of potential development, I still hope you can guide them. I know you want to say that your current strength and experience are insufficient to achieve the effect of guidance. But what I want is not the present, but the future. Speak clearly and have a rigorous expression. This is the result of careful consideration, all because the person in front of us is full of infinite possibilities. The power of enduring the peak can be broken through at any time. And he is only 8 years old now. If he could break through to Zhongren this year, he would definitely be a super genius. The seasoned Hinata Chiyo is still very confident in his vision. A genius that has been rare in the Hinata clan for hundreds of years, he can definitely bring surprises to the Hinata clan and shock the Kiba and Ninja realms. Luochuan remained silent. Qianyang was very clear about his strength and potential. At the age of 8, he was already the pinnacle of endurance, but one thing is that his current strength is in the stage of breakthrough. However, he was also aware that many powerful geniuses would emerge in the future, such as Uchiha Itachi, who graduated from ninja school at the age of 7 and became Nakano at the age of 10. Chimu Kakashi became a ninja at the age of 12. These are all geniuses, geniuses within geniuses. Luochuan's talent is indeed good, and his strength is currently advancing rapidly. He has absolute confidence that he can break through to the strength of Zhongren this year, and even higher level strength is possible. But before gaining absolute power, he could not agree to Qianyang's request, nor could he guide the Japanese team and the Japanese team, which is quite suspected of misleading people. If you're talking about the future, then I'll consider it. Do we still need to consider it? After pondering for a moment, Hinata Chiyo said, if you can achieve the power of endurance among the elites within 3 years, how about I give you the status of an elder in your family? Luochuan smiled lightly and said, Master, there's no need for that. Since I was born into the Hinata clan, I am naturally a member of the Hinata clan. Okay, I agreed to what you said, but as you said, in the future. Hinata Chiyo chuckled and said, that's the best. By the way, homeowner, can we talk about my parents' affairs now? Why are you asking this question again? Related to the Uchiha clan? Yes, but not either. Oh. I cannot explain the specific matter to you clearly at the moment. Since that little ghost from Yuzhibo Fuyue mentioned this matter today, you can search according to your own thoughts. I will not provide you with too much information. Unless you are close to the truth, I will not explain it clearly. Hinata Chiyo is still so calm and seasoned, sticking to his own position, neither saying nor saying. Luochuan didn't ask too much. Anyway, there are preliminary clues, so let's start with the Yuzhibo clan. As long as we can find the clues, any means are available. The two chatted a few more words before Hinata Chiyo left the other courtyard. Luochuan looked at the bright moon in the sky, stared for a long time, and finally returned to his room to study the ability of his white eyes. There are many scrolls in his room, most of which contain information about white eyes, as well as some about illusion and 3 types of ninjutsu scrolls. Earth, wind and fire. The jujitsu technique used today was learned from this scroll, but so far, the level of these ninjutsu techniques has only reached level C at most, and the most advanced ones have not been obtained yet. Huiduan is a high-temperature chakra that can burn objects in contact with it, with powerful power. Fengdun is a sharp characteristic that can cut everything. Chuduan is the process of changing the hardness, composition, mass, and gravity of objects, which can make ninjutsu objects or even their bodies as hard as steel or as soft as clay, making them both offensive and defensive. The 3 attributes undergo property changes simultaneously, which is Dust Dun. Dust Dun, which can annihilate everything, is blood inheritance elimination. By individually controlling and using a certain attribute, one can maximize the power of the 3 types of evasion techniques. Even without using white eyes and dust evasion, it can still achieve a powerful deterrent effect. C-level ninjutsu is currently the only ninjutsu that can be used, and even more advanced ninjutsu may not be as easy to control. Luochuan thought to himself that his spiritual energy was very strong, and the most scarce thing now was his physical energy. Refining chakras required a certain amount of time, and his physical strength also needed to be improved. The body is a container that holds chakras. If this container is not strong enough, it will not be able to accommodate more chakras. Earth escape. The art of gravity. 22 seals, the ninjutsu was completed, and a huge pressure came from his body, causing him to become shorter and almost fall to the ground. A self-created ninjutsu, and a ninjutsu modeled after Tsukikage. Use this technique to change one's own gravity and enhance physical fitness. One breath, one hand lift, one foot lift, all at this moment is a training session. But he also dares not use this technique for too long. Changing gravity for a long time may actually have the opposite effect, limiting the development of the body and even leaving behind hidden diseases. Adding changes in nature to the changes in the form of fire escape can create more ninjutsu, but the two changes need to be coordinated to form a single ninjutsu, and also require sealing and coordination. Creating ninjutsu is not a simple task, it requires a sufficient understanding of the changes in nature and form in order to truly form a ninjutsu. But there are also some ninjutsu techniques that only involve changes in form, which is simply changing the shape of the chakra. We should continue to familiarize ourselves with the techniques of white eyes and dust escape, which are the fundamental principles of life preservation and strength. There are many other ninjutsu techniques for Bai Yen, not only known ones, but also Chindan. Chindan has 3 types of property changes, and now his research direction is to add morphological changes to these 3 types of property changes. Crazy ideas, but also practical. P.S. Please kindly support our flower collection, brothers. In addition, in the book review section, regardless of the quality, please share your opinions on this book. Thank you. Chapter 9. Illusion, Seeking Flower Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On my street, pedestrians are bustling, and the not spacious streets are crowded with people. There are also many pedestrians on the branching paths. At the beginning of a busy day, Luochuan walked out of the Hinata mansion and followed the path towards the ninja school. Ninja school is just a temporary transit station, a place that normal ninjas must reach. Coming out of the ninja school is like practicing ninja. No matter how fast or slow your progress is, the ninja school is a place where Konoha preparatory ninjas must stay. The small path leading to the school still has a large flow of people, with low walls on both sides, and flowers and trees planted inside the walls. Ordinary residents have large green spaces in their homes, reflecting the luxury of life for the residents of the wooden leaves. On the path, Luochuan walked step by step with his head half lowered, pondering the ninjutsu he had developed in the past few days. Studying ninjutsu is an extremely arduous task. In today's ninjutsu world, although there are many types of ninjutsu available, there are few new ones emerging. The main skill of the Hinata clan is body technique. The power of soft fist technique is indeed powerful, but the truly powerful body technique is another type, the 8 gates Duanjia. The kind of physical skills that surpass physical limits is something that people can learn, and if they can achieve it, there will be even more outstanding improvements in physical skills. White eyes belong to the blood inheritance limit and can be used at all times to assist many techniques. In terms of ninjutsu, the assistance that the Hinata clan can provide is too little, far inferior to other families, so creating ninjutsu by oneself has become an important thing now. Creating 3 types of escape techniques is not something that can be accomplished overnight. When using changes in the nature of fire escape and incorporating changes in form, it can generate multiple forms of attacks and achieve different effects. However, if the 2 types of nature changes are combined, there should be different changes. For example, using fire escape as the propulsion force and wind escape as the traction can achieve the effect of flying. My mind is full of thoughts and chaotic. As he was walking, he suddenly stopped and looked up around. It is still a bustling alley, with some pedestrians communicating, some rushing on the way, some laughing, and some carrying on their backs, which can be said to be the essence of life. Looking towards the distance of the path, the 2 rows of low walls seemed to never end. Enemy attack. Luochuan whispered in secret that it usually only takes about an hour to reach the school through the path, but now it has been over an hour and there is no end to it. Determined to be attacked by the enemy, Luochuan made a mark of the future and whispered, "Jia." The walls on both sides quickly dissipated with this sound, and the path and pedestrians completely disappeared, transforming the scene into a lakeside road. Use illusions to lure me here, can you appear now? There is no need to check the enemy's position, as their purpose has been achieved and they will naturally emerge. However, there was no response for a long time, as if there was no one here. Don't come out. Then I'll have to personally invite your excellency out. After Luochuan finished speaking, he directly used his white eyes, observing everything around him. Shoo! Just as he was using his white eyes, a sharp piercing sound came from behind. Bang! Luochuan couldn't help but use a stunt double and hit his body with a few painless hits, but in the next moment, his body turned into a piece of wood and fell to the ground. I found you. After using the stunt double technique, Luochuan did not stop, but went straight to the enemy's position. He was already able to see the opponent's chakra, and even more so, he could see their position. The person who shot out the agony decisively changed his position when he saw that the attack had failed, but Luochuan had already reached his side and struck with a palm. Fire escape. The art of Heo Wokyu. Luochuan's palm struck, and the person shot out a huge fireball, devouring his body in the blink of an eye. Bang! Another light noise and white smoke appeared, and surprisingly, they used a stunt double again to avoid the enemy's attack. Bang! Subsequently, the person who used the technique of the giant fireball was kicked from behind and involuntarily fell forward, landing heavily on the ground. After Luochuan kicked the opponent, he charged forward again, and in a white-eyed state, the soft fist technique can be used at any time. But in the moment he rushed over, the person who was kicked off jumped up and faced Luochuan head on. The attack of Luochuan came to a halt, and facing the attacker, his eyes seemed to be filled with a layer of ice crystals, cold and cold. The person on the other side did not hide their identity, but instead swaggered so boldly, wearing a wooden leaf protector on their forehead, and a fan-like clan emblem on the ninja vest. The Uchiha clan. As one's identity is about to emerge, it goes without saying that it is definitely people from the Uchiha clan who are coming to cause trouble. The ninja of the Uchiha clan sneered at the words and said, "Little devil, you're unlucky to meet me today. Go to the underworld and repent. Remember my master's name, Uchiha Grassland. It's just a matter of tolerance." Whoosh! Uchiha Kusada rushed over at the first moment, shooting out several swords in his hand. At the same time, his eyes quickly changed and turned into a jade Sharingan. It turned out to be a Uchiha ninja with Sharingan activated. No wonder he was able to use magic without being detected by Luochuan at the first time. Fire escape. Phoenix fire technique. He spat out fireballs one after another in his mouth, like a phoenix fire, covering a wide range. The Nakano of the Uchiha clan is already proficient in this type of ninjutsu, which is incomparable to other ninjas. Luochuan observed the attack of Hueduan with his white eyes, and in his vision, the trajectory of those fireballs was clearly visible, and the composition of the chakras inside was also clearly distinguished. Boom! The fireball flew almost close to his body, and none of the swords in his hand could hit him. Upon seeing this, Uchiha Tsauda quickly stopped and observed cautiously. At the moment he stopped, Luochuan began to attack, wind escape. Great breakthrough. Open your mouth and spit, a whirlwind spewed out from your mouth, while two painless fists were thrown out. Oh. Indeed, you can use attacking ninjutsu, but unfortunately, you are just a little ghost. P.S. Kneeling for flower collection support. Please speak up actively in the book review section and be humble in learning. Chapter 10. Killing Zhongren, Seeking Flower Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The whirlwind and Kowu did not pose any threat to Nakano, and it was easy for him to avoid them. Uchiha Asada did not attach too much importance to the enemy. Although he also used attack-type ninjutsu, the student is still a student. Even if chakra overdrawn and used medium-level ninjutsu, it does not represent anything. The little ghost can also kill you. If he can trample on Uchiha's dignity once, then he can trample on it again. Luochuan let out a cold shout, his face calm and wise beyond what he should have at his age. Damn it, how could you think so much? Uchiha Kurata cursed inwardly, feeling like the other person was also an adult ninja just now. Is this an illusion? Wind escape. Wind cutting technique. After the seal was completed, Uchiha Kusada sneered and an invisible slash flew out. Although the appearance of the wind escaping and wind cutting technique cannot be seen with the naked eye, the essence of ninjutsu lies in the changes in the nature and form of the chakra. As long as it is a chakra, the white eye can naturally observe it. Whoosh! A sharp wind blade appeared before my eyes and suddenly flew around from my side. Luochuan did not directly deal with this wind cut technique. Although it is only a C-level ninjutsu, it also requires a certain amount of chakra to withstand it. The attack speed of the wind cutting technique is fast, but the speed of Luochuan is even faster. In an instant, he jumped up to avoid the technique of wind cutting, with a mocking expression on his face. Wind escape. Thousand blade technique. Small wind blades suddenly appeared around Luochuan, and the densely packed blades flew towards Uchiha grassland, creating a spectacular scene. That ninja's face darkened. How could this little ghost have such ninjutsu? This has already used 2 C-level ninjutsus, so his chakra should already be around, right? Fire escape. Dragon fire art. A flame suddenly appeared in front of Nakano, and the raging flames surged several meters high before turning into a dazzling straight flame and flying away. Boom! The linear flame intercepted the thousand-blade technique, and the small wind blades were unable to resist the solidified flames, causing them to scatter one after another, but the flames were also rapidly shrinking. They are equally matched again, and their ninjutsu encounters seem to be on par, with both sides consuming energy. Luochuan secretly thought to himself that if he continued to fight like this, he would only suffer in the end. Although he has the capital to fight against Zhongren, Shikreliang is a tough injury, while the opponent is a real Zhongren, and Shikreliang has surpassed him. In this situation, quick combat and quick decision-making are the hard truth. Seemingly sensing the meaning of Luochuan, Uchiha Tsauda sneered and threw his sword and Kowu one after another, unexpectedly not preparing to quickly end the battle with him. Although Luochuan felt a little anxious in his heart, he didn't lose his composure. He kept dodging the opponent's ninja attacks, while constantly getting closer and analyzing the opponent's next move, the gap between attacks, and the speed of attacks. Little devil, it can't be as you wish. Uchiha Kukuta's ninja attacks were even faster, with swords and kamiji shooting out from the sky. But soon he felt a bit embarrassed, ran out of ninja. Crazy consumption of ninjas, he no longer has any ninjas on his body to use, unless they are stored in sealed scrolls. Cut, we can only directly take you out. Fire escape. Flame dragon fire technique. Zhongren chakra condensed in his throat and spat out a fiery dragon that had transformed into a huge and powerful force, immediately flying towards Luochuan. The fire dragon seems to be accompanied by the sound of dragon chants, with extraordinary power. The fire dragon attacked, but Luochuan was not surprised and calmly responded. Wind escape. Tearing wheel. Who? A disc emitting white light with a diameter of about 3 meters appeared in front of him, and under his control, it suddenly flew out and collided with the fire dragon. At the moment the fire dragon was hit, a large amount of flames flew out. Upon closer inspection, the disc was constantly spinning rapidly, and the sharp wheel kept grinding the fire dragon. How could it be possible? Zhongren couldn't help but be surprised when he saw this scene. This B.level fire escape was a ninjutsu he only recently obtained, and now it also requires a lot of chakras to be used. How could it be destroyed by a little ghost from a ninja school? B.level ninjutsu is an advanced ninjutsu that can only be mastered by upper ninjas, and he is a ninja of the Uchiha clan. There are many fire escape ninjutsus in the clan, so he was able to obtain this one. However, due to factors such as chakra, once his B.level ninjutsu is used, the cost to his body is still quite significant. The tear wheel is just a C.level ninjutsu, but now this C.level ninjutsu has impressive power, fully unleashing Feng Dun's tearing ability, completely surpassing the scope of C.level ninjutsu. Confess. Luochuan saw the effect of tearing the turntable and murmured, with a wild desire in his eyes that seemed to devour everything. Boom. The dragon dissipated, and the white wheel continued to attack. In shock, Uchiha Asada almost dodged, and when he jumped back to avoid it, the turntable exploded under his feet. In an instant, the ground shattered and was cut into countless pieces by a sharp turntable. Ah! Zhongren's body was lifted and rolled on the ground several times before stopping. He was ragged, bleeding profusely, and his left arm was powerless to hang down. When he looked at Luochuan, his eyes were already filled with surprise and shock. Is it still a ninja school student that a little ghost can unleash such power? This little ghost is calm and wise, using the nature of Feng Dun to counter Fire Dun to destroy the Flame Dragon Fire technique, and the remaining abilities have also caused him such great damage. The left arm is already disabled, affected by the aftermath of the torn turntable, and we can no longer fight at this moment. A momentary mistake resulted in an irreversible outcome, losing one arm and greatly reducing combat effectiveness. Damn it! We can only retreat first and report to the clan leader. Zhongren secretly made up his mind and decisively stood up to escape. Want to leave? I'll give you a ride. Fire escape. Dragon fire sword technique in hand. Opening his mouth, he spat out a straight flame, and more than 10 swords in his hand swung over into the flames. Uchiha Kusada, who was running away, was suddenly hit by flames after a physical attack. Ah! With a scream of agony, the future could not be fully shouted out. The sword in his hand had penetrated deeply into his vital body, and flames were constantly burning on him. Luochuan finally relaxed upon seeing this scene, his face covered in fine beads of sweat, and his body felt unusually empty and uncomfortable. To kill enemies beyond one's level, or to kill enemies beyond one's level without using Chindan, the pressure is not small. But at that moment, a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. P.S. Please kindly request the support of your collection.